Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review for the 80s Horror-thon. This time it is Halloween 2. Now, Halloween 2 is actually my favorite of the franchise. I do like the first film, the third film, the fourth film, a bit of H2O, the rest I don't care for, including the new one. Don't look forward to anything coming out of that stupid... Just let the franchise end like so many other franchises. But this is I thought, a very solid continuation of the first movie. And the reason I like this more, I like the hospital setting. I think the hospital setting is a really neat setting for a horror film. I like that the kills have a bit more gore to them, at least a little bit more visceralness to them, because of the success of Friday the 13th, so they knew they had to up their game a little bit more. The supporting actors, I mean, you got Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasence coming back, which is nice, but you also have Lance Guest, the last Starfighter himself. You got Leo Rossi, who's in films like Maniac Cop 2, among others. Dick Warlock, I thought he did a really good job. This is my favorite look of Michael Myers. I don't know, I just thought he looked the best in this movie. The kills are fun. I mean, when he dumps the woman and all that stuff, the lady gets scalded, pretty much burned. Yeah, the cop who gets the hammer to the head. Which is funny because in the same year, Friday the 13th Part 2 came out, and that also had a guy getting a hammer to the head. And funny enough, both were officials. Like, one was a cop and one was in this a security guard. So they have pretty interesting coincidence. But you have the scene where Michael comes out of the showers, grabs the woman, puts the needle like right here. My favorite kill is the nurse where he stabs her in the back and lifts her up, and you just see her shoes fall to the ground. But yeah, I thought it did its job well. It has a great score. In fact, this has my favorite score of all the Halloween films, although Halloween 3 is close. I like the kind of new rendition of the Halloween theme. You know, bum 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 bum. I thought that was a really cool way to not just copy and paste the score of the first film. And also, to me, this is a sequel that helps the first movie, because I didn't really care for I get the idea behind it, but for the first movie, I didn't care for the open-ended, he disappears, what happened next. I like that they followed through on it, and this is, to me, you just say this is the actual end of the franchise, and it could have been. And you know what? I think it would have been fine, although I do like Halloween 4, and I do like bits of Halloween H2O. I really like Halloween 3, which I'll get to. I mean, I reviewed these films in the past. All the Halloween films are on my channel, the review-wise. But since I'm doing an 80s horror thought, I wanted to touch on it again. It was fun to be watching this. And Street Fighter did a good job with the features. Commentary with director Rick Rosenthal and actor Leo Rossi. Commentary with Dick Warlock. Good making of, with quite a few people like Leo Rossi, Dick Warlock, the director, Rick Rosenthal, Irwin Yablon's the producer, Dean Cundy the DP, Alan Howarth, who worked on the score with John Carpenter. Horse Hallowed Grounds, great theme with Sean Clark, looking at the locations. Has the TV cut, which is a quirky, some of the weird things they do in that TV cut. That was a nice addition. I like the opening where, like, there you have the pumpkin, it reveals the face. I thought that was a cool way to open it. One little mess up they did, one little fuck up they did at the beginning when it recaps the first movie and you hear the gunshots, but technically 7 gunshots are done because Loomis shoots Michael when he's ready to stab Jamie, and then Donald enters the room, and then he fires 6 more shots. So it's a 6-shooter that has 7 bullets technically. And even Loomis says, I shot him 6 times. It's like, no, really. Based on what we hear, you shot 1 on the steps and then 6 when he went out the window. 7 times. So, I mean, that's a little mess up that, honestly, they could have just corrected for the home releases. I know that's altering the original, but, I mean, that's just one little nitpick. What else is there? There's... I thought this went at a good pace. I mean, little weird bits like I know some of my friends don't like this bit, but I did, where a random thing where a kid goes to a hospital and he's got like a razor blade between his teeth. Because like that whole thing that, oh, they don't put razor blades in the candy or apples, don't, make sure to check. And a razor blade is stuck. I don't know, I just made me go like, ugh. That's like one of the, like cringiest bits of the movie in a good way. Or the character Ben Tramer who has a Myers mask and he gets hit and by a cop car accidentally and it explodes. And the guy's like, is it him or not? And then you find out that it wasn't him. Some of the dialogue was fun. Like one of the nurses talking to Leo Ross, he's like, you know what? Every word you say is hell or shit or damn. He's like, I'm sorry. Because I just fuck up all the time. So I mean, I wish Leo Rossi was in the film more because he was entertaining. Like lines of that, or when he says like, amazing grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pies. I mean, to me, this did a slasher film well. I mean, again, that little nitpick at the beginning. Jamie Lee Curtis, because of the way the plot is, she doesn't have a lot to do, so a good chunk of it, she's just on a bed with the wig, I know. But even as a kid, that hair didn't bother me. I don't know, it just didn't bother me as much as other people, so. But yeah, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, because of the way the story is, she doesn't have a lot to do until the very end. Which, I mean, that's probably the main critique I could give the film, is that somehow I wish there was a way that Jamie Lee Curtis could do more. Again, I don't know how you would work within the story. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of bad stuff about this flick. Like I said, I like the kills. I like the cast. Lance Guest is one of the orderlies who works there, and he chats friendly with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like Lee Ross, Donald Pleasence, I thought did another wonderful job. Jamie Lee Curtis for a little bit to do. Good. I thought it was I love the hospital setting. Yes, I know this is one of those hospitals and movies where it's completely empty, which would never be in a hospital. Like, why is this hospital that's so big so fucking empty and desolate? I know. That happens with all, some movies of the 80s. But I liked it because I thought it fit the mood and atmosphere of the flick, so I understood why they did it. But yeah, logically speaking, I know it doesn't make sense that the hospital's this empty. It's like there's 15 people total in this entire hospital. But the lighting, the mood, the atmosphere of the hospital worked to that advantage. So I could overlook it. But again, the nitpick at the beginning with the 7 gunshots, Jamie Lee wishing she had a bit more to do. Probably my only other nitpick is Lance Guest. You don't really know whether he lives or dies because he slips on a bit thin of like a puddle of blood, and then he's looking, and what happens is he, how do I put it, he gets in a car, passes out on the horn, and that's because there was an alternate ending, which is on the Blu-ray, where Lance Guest did live, and he sets up, and he's in the hospital. I mean, he's in the ambulance with Jamie Lee Curtis. Kind of wish they kept that in. Just a personal preference. I would have preferred that being kept in. But I mean, the finale, I love the whole shooting in the eyes and the tears of blood. I thought that was one of the best images in the entire Halloween franchise. Is the tears of blood. It ends definitively. I like the fact that he's blind swinging the knife, and both Loomis and Jamie Lee are working together to fill up the room with gas. And also, this is the only film where these two are on screen together. Think about it. Because even in the first Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasence don't share the screen together. You see Jamie, then it cuts to Donald Pleasence, but they actually share the screen together only in this flick, where they're both in the hospital and Jamie's like tugging at his coat and they're running through the hallways. And that was nice to finally see that. The two of them in the same frame in the same shot. Which, would have been nice to see more of. But it ends definitively, explosion. Michael Myers is on fire to the point that literally the fire is going through the face and the mask. There's nothing left. But in Halloween 4, there is. Which is bullshit, but yeah, I love this sequel. I think it's a very strong sequel. I think it did its job extremely well. And yeah, I thought it brought the elements of the first film. It still had the mood, the atmosphere, a great score, very competent direction, had the widescreen. It was a good-looking film. Dean Cundey once again came back as the DP. So it still had that mood and atmosphere of the first film, but then the added visceralness of the kills and bigger body count. And I thought Dick Warlock did an even better job, and I like the look of Michael Myers in this. Donald Pleasence, Loomis, and Laurie Strode being in the same frame, having, to me, a more satisfying and definitive ending. A score that I thought was, to me, the best score of the Halloween franchise. I thought all those elements are why I do prefer this over the first movie. I know I'm alone with that, but that's my opinion. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and stay tuned for more 80s horror movie reviews. See you guys later.